Hello, this is Wmpyr here to talk about the force-to-force block, which is an extremely important technique that I teach. Why? Because you're going to use it for self-defense, and it's one of those techniques that it's very simple and it's easy to understand how you're supposed to use it in a real life situation. It's very clear. There are plenty of techniques in the martial arts world where that is not clear, that it's very complex and you have to do some figuring out. You might have to do some evolving progression of the technique. You have to do experiments and figure out things in order for the technique to become usable or combat ready. But the force-to-force block is one of those that it's, like I said, very simple, very clear. So I really, really like it, and that's why I teach it. So right here, I'm already in motion. I'm already coming in, and I'm about to, slash my student here. Of course, I'm using a training knife, and my student, you can see, is about to use the force-to-force block right there. Okay, so you can see very easy that that's what's going on right here. And the next photo right here, my student successfully defends against the force-to-force block, as you can see right here. Okay, now it is important that you actually practice this, and my students and I, we practice this constantly, all the time. Why? It's because it's not something that I could just show you the force-to-force block and that's it. The technique is actually it needs to be developed, and what I mean by that is this is a skill. You get better and better at doing it, and as you get better, how would I say, there's things that you learn. So for example, if you watch a professional boxer throw a jab, their jab is going to be much more developed than someone who never boxed before and they throw a jab. Even though they understand the concept of a jab, you could tell them this is what a jab is. This is what a jab is used for. And you could teach it to them and go, this is the proper technique of a jab. Compared to a professional boxer, someone who's been throwing jabs hundreds and hundreds of times on different kinds of bags, on focus mitts. They've learned different combinations to go with it. And they've been working with the jab extensively. With someone like that, even though it's the same jab, it's not the same. Okay, so the technique needs to be developed, and there is a proper way to do the force-to-force block, and there's an incorrect way to do the force-to-force block. That is one of the things that I am always adamant about teaching my students, because I have actually seen on YouTube some copycats, and they're not doing it right. and look, when you say doing it right or doing it wrong, if I fight one of these people, right? Let's say I'm in a combat situation with one of these people, and they doing the force-to-force block just like this, okay? But let's say they're doing it the improper way. The way that I teach my students, don't do it this way, and they're doing it that way, right? Unless I can take advantage of that and hit them with the consequences. Unless I can do that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I may or may not be able to. Okay, my logic could be sound, but there might be other elements, like even though they're doing it so-called incorrectly, so incorrectly from my eyes, maybe in their eyes they're doing it correctly, but unless I could make them pay for that, it doesn't matter. And even if I try to, I mean, they just might be, superhuman reflexes, or just a way better athlete than I am, like 5 times better. You just never know what you're dealing with. Okay, but anyway, let me go back to making them pay for their consequences. So right here, this is actually the next photo right here. You can see the line. When I attack right there, he blocked it. Okay, he blocked it. He blocked my knife attack. But you could see that if I continued the knife attack, even though he blocked it, I could still cut him. I could still slash him wide open if that was a real knife, even though he blocked my first attack. So in other words, I'm not even, it is a combo. Combo is what, 2 or more techniques put together. So this would be 2 attacks that I'm doing. So the first one got blocked, and here's the second one that could slash him wide open. But really, the second one is like I'm just continuing the motion of the first one. It's like a follow through. Okay. So if you're gonna do the force to force block correctly, this is why you can't just block. You have to block, and you have to move out of the way. You have to get out of there. Because if you don't, I'm showing you right here clearly that all I got to do is continue my motion forwards, and I cut them. Okay. Now, could my student, if I came in forward, could they hit me in the face with the bag? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm slashing them wide open, which is worse, And you don't want to trade anyway. Even if my knife slash isn't that bad, you still don't want to be playing that game where you're going to be trading shots. That's low skill, So what this tells you is what's even more important than the block is to actually move out of the way, is to angle away, is to get out of there. That is way more important. The block is just, it's there as an additional. But the main thing is the distancing. All right? So when I see people teaching this stuff, they're copycatting and they're teaching, I'm just seeing that they're copying the technique, and they're focused on the block. And I could tell you right away that is the wrong, at least from my experience, that is the incorrect way to do it. And like I said, that doesn't make any matter. Like, it doesn't matter if I cannot take advantage of that, right? So if they're using the block and they're doing it incorrectly, if their opponent can't take advantage of that, then it doesn't matter, right? So how do I take advantage of this? If someone's blocking like this, how can I take advantage of it? And that is to practice this right here, okay, is to practice this. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. So if you are boxing or if you are doing MMA, you could apply the same concept, okay, the same concept where I could deliberately go and attack their block. So I want them to block my attack, right? So I'm actually aiming for the location of where I think they're going to block it. But from there, I'm going to continue an attack. Okay, so in their mind, they're going to go, oh, I blocked it. But they don't realize that's going to connect me to my second attack right there. So that would be the way for me to make them pay for it. Now, of course, I want to do it in a way where I'm not going to be trading blows. So that's going to make it a little bit more complex. But the first step is to, before you start worrying about that, actually practice this. So practice hitting the target, expecting it to get blocked, and then continuing the motion with a follow-through, and that's your secondary attack. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you find it interesting. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.